This is spool, we know, so we're determining if 1 or 3 is. Ah! That one's the one that's hooked to the charge pipe, whatever that one was. Yes, and spun backwards. It farted at me, it scared me.
All right, what's up, guys? Ryan Milliken here with Hardway. Got some buddies here from Arizona. Chance McKelvie with, what do you call your truck?
MoTeC, yep.
Right, and we got Brandon Wood with whose truck?
Devin Nygaard is our customer, mutual customer here.
So 2 hot rods out of Arizona, and we have Terry. He's my permanent lap dog. So we meant to do this video earlier today during the daylight when it was nice outside. However, we weren't done yet, and it gets dark at 4:30 or something stupid. So
in about 30 seconds.
We got the lights set up, and we're out here in front of the trailer. This was Devin Nygaard's truck. This truck yesterday we made 1,711.4 point something. Whatever the point is, it's 1.3 more than Nick Eklund's truck, which was the former Hardway horsepower dyno record. So by 1.3 horsepower, the dyno record goes to Arizona now.
We'll take it.
So our previous dyno record was Nick Eklund with the correction factor turned on was 1710.12 horsepower. This truck with correction factor turned on made 1711.42. So that is 1.3 horsepower with correction factor. And it's not much of a correction factor difference. Nick Eklund, when he made 1710, the correction factor was 1.01, and we're rocking 0.97 today. So it beat it, but just barely. We're also wrapping up Chance's truck today, which is why we are out here in the dark doing this. These guys are taking them both home. We got more projects to pull in. Chance's truck is an incomplete project. He's got to take it home, yank motor out, do some more fab work. You want to tell us about what you're doing when you take the truck home?
Yeah, the plan is to pull the motor. We got a couple things that we want to do, like connector-wise on the steering wheel. I want to finish up the nitrous lines, pull the motor, obviously. There's a couple of connectors on the injector return that we want to finish up. And then there's the crank sensor is obviously wiggly in there, so we want to pull the motor.
Is that it's wiggly because of the cover, or why is it wiggly?
Yeah. We have a cover that it's a D&J cover, but we ended up never tightening that initial bolt that
it holds the block that holds the sensor.
Yep.
So
we pinned it. It never had an issue, but we want to do it right and make sure it never loses that sensor signal.
So what's your plans with your truck? You get it home, you get motor swapped out, all that stuff. Either myself or Brandon, or possibly both, are going to head out. Brandon Murphy, wiring guy. Not this Brandon, he'll already be there. Yeah, so either Brandon Murphy or myself are going to head out to your place. First event you're going to try to make is going to be NHRDA end of February.
Yep.
Right? So before then, we're going to finalize all the little details. He's going to do all the stuff he needs to do. There's a hub dyno out there, right?
We're going to get lined up with a hub dyno. It's actually a shop that moved into our old shop that's got 4 mainline hubs. So if we really want to get gangster, we can do all-wheel drive dynos. But yeah, they're right down the street.
Sounds terrifying.
So they do supercars and shit like that. So they're going to be kind of awestruck when we break all of their dyno records with tractors.
You want to tell us about the Devin's truck?
Yeah, so Devin's truck's a pretty simple truck, all things considered. Single pump. So that our 1700 number, I was happy. That was kind of our goal, was to break that record, but we're out of pump.
And the other goal with the truck is
to be the fastest truck in Arizona, diesel truck, anyways.
What do you have to say about that, Chance?
We'll see. Definitely not on the streets.
Yeah, Chance has had about 15 years to get his to be the fastest, and it's not. He's still behind my car, which cost about $40,000. So we'll see how he does. It should be fun, though. We are all friends. We're all kind of from the same camp. Tier 1 handles these guys trans, and we're happy to have them. But we enjoy racing together. And if we're all pushing towards that same end goal, I mean, nobody loses. So it kind of gives everybody something to push for. Chance has been like a 541, I think, like 2 years ago.
546.
Yeah, 546, like a handful of years ago. There's another guy out in Arizona. They just finally caught up to that. I think they're about tapped out. Devin's truck, as it sits, realistically, it should go 30s
That thing's a lot lighter than Chance's truck.
It's a lot
so.
lighter than Chance's. It doesn't make as much steam as of now, but I think they'll be really good to run together as Chance gets his dialed in and we get Devin used to his truck. Devin's not been this fast before. In the past, he had a pretty hot truck, but it was a few years ago when 10s were fast.
But if he doesn't get a license soon, you're going to drive?
Hint, hint, he needs a license. So if you're watching this and you have not scheduled it yet, for the love of God, open your phone that you're watching this on and schedule that. So yeah, the plan is to go out and he wants to have the fastest race truck or fastest diesel truck in Arizona. That's what he came to us asking for. So naturally we landed here once we had all of our plumbing and all the other stuff done and fabrication stuff. And I'm super happy with how it turned out. You guys will see it in the rest of the video on the wiring layout. I originally planned to panel in the dash and clean it all up, and after Murphy got done with everything, I can't bring myself to cover it. Goddamn, it looks just so good.
Less is more, and especially when you can reach everything and work on it, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about this real quick. So you guys are from, same place. How far do you live from each other? You like same town?
Well, he just moved, but we were, as of me moving into my new house, we're like 10 minutes away. Yeah.
Okay, so
down the street.
I guess what I'm getting at is you both have MoTeC ECUs in these two projects, but the projects differ in a bit that you have an ECUMasters PMU and dash, so power management unit in the dash, and you have the MoTeC power distribution module PDM and your dash. But in regards to the ECM, the way that I like to look at it, I like to be as Hardway and as myself personally, I want to be the enabler. So I want to set you guys up for success and then send you on your ways. So once you guys, once I basically kick you out of the nest per se, you guys can lean on each other as far as, tuning strategies, traction strategies, what works, for this turbo, this tire. Hey, where's lockup going to be at for you? Hey, I'm having this issue. You can lean on each other before you have to call me and then me, ridicule you. Okay, not answer, but if I do answer, ridicule you because what you're asking me is so simple.
Right.
And it's right here in front of you.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool. And that's a big benefit for the MoTeC stuff is no longer do you have to rely on a tuner like myself to get back to you in 3 to 5 business weeks when you need an answer tonight because you've got next round coming up in an hour, right?
Yep.
So these things that a lot of people think the MoTeC stuff is so complicated, and it is to set up, as we've learned the last couple days, especially when you start mix matching parts that you don't use normally and stuff like that. But once you get past those hurdles, the trackside tuning stuff is pretty damn easy. Like the dyno stuff, the dyno tuning stuff yesterday, I'm really confident that you guys both could have looked at the data in front of you and made the changes to get to where we ended up at yesterday. Like more fuel, less fuel. It's like moving sliders. Like you want your RPM to be more on launch, like move this up here. So
and that's my biggest thing is I wanted to have something. I never used a staging limiter. It never worked on an 05 truck, so I'm limited to what I was able to do or see any kind of data of, okay, we're slipping on traction on this no prep event and we don't even know anything. We just have to go based off of videos.
So discuss that before and after. You never had a staging limiter. Your data logging was extremely limited.
Zero data logging other than
besides
my pillar.
Whatever HP tuners, or if you got a camera recording of your gauges, right?
Yeah.
So now we have a staging limiter. Now you have a wideband lambda sensor.
Yep.
So no longer do you have to pussyfoot the truck up to get it on boost. I literally want you to put it in gear, roll into the beams at a high idle and floor it, and let the ECM do the rest. If it doesn't do that correctly, that's my job to fix that, not you to try to drive between rounds.
And I think that was my biggest issue is I would try to stage it with my foot, and then as I let off my brake, I'm trying to floor it at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest issue of being consistent. Whereas if I was able to press that all the way down, I know consistency-wise it's going to help me and the truck.
So the launch control is going to be a benefactor of your brake pressure, which we can move that threshold.
Yeah.
So basically, whenever you're standing on the brakes, your launch control limiter will be on while you're wide open throttle. Yeah. So all you've got to do is hold it to the floor. Your tune knob will dictate how high RPM it goes on the stage limiter, which you will dictate prior to going up to the start line with the laptop, right? And then once you let off that, you've got a time-based fuel ramp and a time-based rev limiter that can be active. So you can say, hey, I'm leaving at 3,500. This thing does not need to be at 5,500 RPM in a half a second, which, you know, if you hit the tires and blow it off. So you can make it hit a rev limiter and climb that engine curve nicely so the tires can rattle and grab on a looser surface and not just boil themselves off. The other cool part is whenever the engine RPM is above 50, it's data logging. So if you're going to do some street driving, you know, I know it's set up for some drag and drive type stuff. Before you pull into the lanes to make a pass or do something important, clear the data. Because if you drove it to there, you're going to have your number one, it might not record. I haven't even tried that. It terrifies me. So I clear the log all the time. I think it'll record the old data, or it'll disable or delete the old data before it records new, but it might fill up, and I don't know. I've never tested it. But what you will have is a tremendous, like, I don't know how much room's in the data log, but it can be a lot of megabytes. Like I've pulled at least 250 megabytes out from just a couple spool ups and screwing around. So you do want to make sure to clear the data logs quite often. So both these guys are going to be going out to Arizona, obviously back home. You're leaving out tomorrow. You're going to take Devin's truck and do what with it to get it ready? You're not doing anything with that truck till February. So what do you have to do with the truck once it leaves here with a dyno tune, the dyno record, basic functionality? What's next step for you?
Yeah, so there's a handful of small things to button up. We didn't have a couple of mounts done and things like that, which is obviously not what it comes here for. So we have a handful of little stuff to button up like that, tidying some things, moving some things around that we found, you know, may or may not have been great as we rattle it loose on the dyno, as we kind of expected with a new build. We got this truck with no plumbing, no wires, no nothing.
So I'm going to pause right there to give an example, just so this makes sense. The PMU, power management unit, so these guys hard mounted all their stuff. Who's your fab guy?
Carter Shropshire. So he's out CA Fab in Arizona.
Excellent fab guy. Everything he did was top notch, beautiful. He did not, however, mount the PMU, the power management unit, and it has a built-in, basically an automatic shutoff if the G's experience enough G-force to, I think it was set at 6 G's.
I think it was set at 6, yeah.
So we just used a billet bar mount with an aluminum pad and mounted it directly underneath the ECM, basically wired it in place knowing their fab guy would put a real mount there, and we just put it looked nice, but it was a temporary mount.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was aluminum, it vibrated. And so we would get up on boost on the dyno, and between the vibration of the drive shaft, the tires, you name it, and I think more than anything, the aluminum plate vibrating in like a split second was able to see 6 G's and shut the damn truck off.
Yeah. So the truck would run. We'd make the pull, and then everything would be off.
Yeah,
all the fans, water pump, everything would be off.
And they just turned off. It was killing what was it running off of? Just running off the
alternator. It killed the whole PMU. Yeah, it killed the whole PMU.
That took us a while to figure out. So we're confident. Number one, we killed that function for now.
Yeah.
But I'm confident that we'll be able to turn it back on once he gets a nice solid mounted to the frame without the aluminum, able to vibrate.
Yeah, it was a little wobbly.
That's an example of that. So sorry to interrupt you.
No, that was something that, obviously he pounded his head against the wall. I just went, I don't know.
I ended up on the phone with ECUMasters, like, why is this doing this?
So that was cool. It was interesting to see that stuff. I think the first dyno session we ended up blowing a wastegate off. So little stuff like that. It's a brand new build. So the big thing is too, I got to get Devin in the truck. We have the switch on the fly power with the MoTeC, which is really nice. So we made 1700 on the big kill on the big tune.
We're not sending Devin down the track on 1700 horse.
We're sending him down on tune 0 essentially, and start letting him get used to the truck. We're gonna run this one on 29.5, so it's a little bit different setup than Chance's. Obviously weight as well. I'm really excited to see how the chassis does. We have shock travel sensors on it, so we can watch that stuff as well. I'd say the biggest thing is getting him used to the truck. We have enough truck now that he could get in trouble. I think he'll pick it up pretty easily. The truck should just work. It should be nice and smooth, and with the MoTeC and all of the programming that's done on that side of things, it'll be an effortless drive. Once he gets the hang of what everything's doing versus his truck before, where he was just raw dogging life with no trans brake, no staging limiter, nitrous wasn't really set up for a spool jet. And even my car, I was running it was, you had to know how to drive it, right? With a stock ECU, there's a lot of nuances that this just wipes out, which would be really nice. To help teach somebody to drive to this level will be a lot easier.
As well as the ability to DIY tune change, review your own data.
Yeah, because we do quite a bit of no prep out there. Chance mentioned it. They do pretty often called a shutdown showdown. sometimes these guys go out to Mexico. We have races out there, so some of those roads out there, I mean, it's like your fucking driveway. And to be able to change that with a CM 2100 was impossible.
Ryan, help!
Help! He said,
Nope.
I can't.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, turn it down some. So yeah, we do a good variety of racing out there, but NHRDA should be really the first time we can let both of these trucks go, especially on a timed surface. So.
I think too, being able to see the data on the transmission. I know you guys in Tier 1's always been a big supporter, and I feel like the 48RE doesn't have a ton of data specific before going to a TH400. So I know that Tier 1's trying to innovate and go beyond.
And both these trucks are Tier 1 transmission equipped, right?
Yeah, they're
so
both
48RE,
Tier 1 48s.
completely controlled by the MoTeC. Not that there's a whole lot to control. You got your air shifter,
No.
your lockup, your output shaft speed. You're watching line pressure.
Yeah.
you
There's
got
a
some
few
converter
more.
pressure.
So with, yeah, they both have. They're both our comp builds. You know, whatever. They have an SFI case. So the SFI case does offer us a lot more data ports to plug in sensors to. Not so much. Yeah, going down the track, it doesn't matter. But when we work towards failure to try to push this platform a little further, having converter charge pressure and having line and all these other, output speed, all of this stuff is super important to try to put that piece together after it's all come apart.
To make an educated decision as well, as far as tune changes goes, not just when it comes to failure, but
Yeah.
Do we need a tighter stator, a looser stator, thicker fluid, thinner fluid, change the lockup strategy? Like, how do we keep this thing alive at these power levels? So.
Yeah.
or blowing off the tire or whatever.
Yeah. And how much can we slip the converter before we piss it off and make the truck happy instead? So that'll be really helpful.
Cool. So you guys got a 2-day drive, or you'd make it 3 or
24
what?
hours.
If you don't stop, it's 24 hours. Usually with fuel
That's
and
so gross.
stuff, you're about 32 of moving time. So I
So
used to be able to do it in 2 days.
It's Thursday
It's not
evening.
anymore.
You guys be home
Sunday
Sunday?
afternoon, probably.
sometime.
Yeah. He's got a passenger, so I'm not sure how that works on road trips. I don't have one, so I stop when the fuel light comes on. We'll see.
On your truck, your truck has been away from home for a while.
Yes.
So your truck left Arizona as a running driving street truck
Yep.
To UCC.
to UCC
Yep.
in June.
Yep.
And then it went where?
Straight to Cody Fisher at 1X Precision. He did the 4-link before, but then he went ahead and did all the rack and pinion. We redid all the intercooler setup. We did different nitrous routing. He pretty much hard mounted all the MoTeC modules
Yep.
and
And all that
did-
stuff looked outstanding.
yeah.
I did.
Which is another reason why the truck basically can't leave here complete. Not that he left you hanging with anything. There's just, you've got to take the truck home and wrap up all the loose ends
Yeah.
from all this fab work change, all this electrical stuff change. You're also in the process of reinstalling an SRT10 interior, right?
Yeah.
So you're also swapping out dash panels and carpet and all sorts of stuff. So, I mean, we'd be more than happy to wrap up the wiring and send it home dyno tuned, but some stuff's got to happen on your end, and that's
Yeah.
just easier to happen in Arizona. And it is way easier for two goons, myself and Murphy, to hop a flight and come wrap up things and make you guys buy us dinner out in Arizona than it is for your truck to stay here longer and delay the drive any further
Yeah.
back. So
Yep.
Yeah, I want to go home.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, I wanted to have a truck that I could still street drive. So obviously that's why I stay with the 48 platform, being able to have the overdrive and
yeah.
things like that, to be able to drag and drive it if I wanted to do those events or whatever I wanted to do, but still be able to have all the data that I could possibly have, shock sensors, anything, G meter if I don't have a draggy or whatever, all those things that I was never able to have, but still have door functions and lock, unlock, and
street truck, as we've
Yeah.
been calling it, right? So you filled up every output on a PDM 30 plus some.
yeah. So we find out.
So
yeah.
we need to make a PDM 60 for projects
For
like that.
chance. For chance. Just going to glue them together.
And I had to make it hard on the guys and mount these bulkheads in the most difficult spot, but that's the way I wanted
That
it.
is one of our loose ends.
I
Yeah.
think Murphy's in there cussing you right now. on it.
Yep. Yep, there he was. Yep, he just chimed in there. Yeah.
All right, so fastest truck in Arizona. You think that truck will go 4s?
His?
Yours. That one back there.
I think this one will in time. In time, we're limited at a single pump, so we ain't doing it until we
this
put
one-
another pump on it. But down the road, I think the potential is there.
As similar as the builds are, that's way less street truck and way more race truck.
Yes,
Where
this
his
one was
is way more street truck with racing
yeah.
tendencies.
Chance has been street truck from the beginning. We actually put a motor in his truck like almost 10 years ago in my garage when he
over
was
that.
like a 6-inch lift and big old disco wheels and like the headlights with the color change LEDs
Halos.
in them and all that. So he's had many evolutions of this truck, and it has always kept. I want a street truck. It's full bed, full steel fenders. I mean everything.
And what did that thing weigh?
Full exhaust. It
Rolling in
was
here?
5,900 pounds.
5,900 pounds.
After he got out.
With me, yeah. So 57 without me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is really good. If you guys get a chance to look at this truck at an event, everything is super clean and it's all there. Everything's
It's
there.
a full
Stereo's
5-inch,
there.
Full 5-inch
Stainless 5-inch.
stainless 5-inch off the GT55 turbo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Downpipe out to the cab, over the frame rail, next to the tire, and out.
And I've been told it's the loudest truck because of this.
It is on every property. I think Paul Cato made a comment about that, and he was like, I don't want to ever be up there next to him staging ever again. It has a tone.
It treats that exhaust like a megaphone.
It's something. It's unique, and Chance is unique. So.
I thought your truck was loud. You guys actually brought me those headsets.
Yeah.
With the donut sprinkles.
Yep, the donut sprinkle headsets.
Pink ones are mine.
Because he was doing dynos the last time like this with the button.
Trying to hold my ears,
his
it's so
ears
loud.
shut.
You like my headset? Courtesy of Tier 1 transmissions. 'Cause the last time we tried to run this truck on the dyno, I was trying to plug my ears and crap. And we can't just send black headsets, so the pink sprinkled donuts is absolutely right up my alley. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Chance's truck is very much street truck. Super capable. There's not going to be a whole lot of trucks, even at full weight, that are going to touch that thing anyways. Where we have our edge is weight. And somebody that desperately wants to be the fastest race truck out there, all right, cool. So we can go back and forth all day long, and both of us win at that point. Even if we draw each other, there's no reason we'll be in there helping each other on the keyboard and having a good time with it.
I won't tell them what tune I got, but I'll be wrenching if they need help.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one thing that you're most excited about going home with the truck, your trucks, after this total MoTeC, ECU, PDM, total rewire upgrade, what would you, Chance, I'll ask you first. What would you say is the thing you're most excited about?
I think I've always been about keeping it clean and just to see all the wiring and how good all Murphy did on everything. Like for me, that's probably the second most, but first best is obviously being able to stage limit the truck with all the data in the world to be able to look on a screen and say, okay, we're doing
That's
this.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
To have gone 540s with an 848 and a foot brake, I think everybody's a little excited to see what this thing's going to do.
Without having full capabilities. Like we just don't know how much we could lean on it. You know, we could obviously guess, but
Yeah.
not being able to see. Like that was on small kits, 136s, and now we got 340s or whatever if we
60.
Now
want.
you're going to know exact air fuel ratio, exact turbo
Yeah.
speed, exact
Yeah.
this, that, all that stuff.
So, yeah, like we found out on the dyno the other day. Oh, well, let's throw a 360 in it. We're going to make the number. And we're like, oh, it's 30-1. We
Yeah, I
don't
was
need that.
trying to
So now
pull
we
that back
know.
out. Yeah.
On my car, I just threw them in there. Well,
Quit going faster.
yeah, it stopped going faster, but
turbo
I'm
exploded. We're
spending
on
more
fire.
money on nitrous. Okay. And I think Devin's truck, very similar. I've been around Ryan and the cars that he's built and trucks that he's built for years and never really had the opportunity. It's not in my budget. It was nothing that really pushed me that hard to do so. Having a truck kind of in the tier 1 stable with Devin's and then having his as well, to have something at that level will be really cool because you can just start pushing. You can start chipping away at stuff. When you don't have any of that data, you're out there swinging blind. So, okay, we made a change. Well, did it matter? Oh, I don't know. It could have. So being able to sit there and really look at this and chip away, and I think seeing, obviously, delivering the product to Devin as he wished is big for me. That's the first time we've done a build like that at Tier 1. It was kind of out of left field. I think we delivered pretty well on that with the help of these guys as well.
Yeah, I think you got the right parts and the right people in your corner, all things considered.
Yeah. So to see him come back and when we were putting it on the dyno and working our way in with the dyno tunes as we first fired it up, and he was texting me. He's like, "Oh, that sucks, dude. My sand rail makes 1,600 horsepower." And I said, "Yeah, well, your sand rail don't get to leave like this." And it makes 1,700 horsepower.
Does it make
so,
2,400 foot-pounds of torque though?
Yeah. So 1,700 and 2,400 pounds of torque. The sand rail is going to feel slow. So hopefully we can.
The limits on our dyno, by the way, are supposed to be 2,000 horsepower and 2,000 foot-pounds. So somewhere along those lines, we've exceeded that.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what a 224 XLC2 can actually register on one of these. I guess we'll find out with one of these trucks soon enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, a little bit of loose ends to button up, and we'll be probably, I mean, at a minimum, I imagine Chance will be making some test hits by the shop, as will Devon's here in the next probably 45, 60 days. Just continuing to work things out and get baselines on everything.
Your truck showed up late.
Yep.
So it wasn't the end of the world. We just had to wrap up the projects we had ahead of you and then pulled it in. This is, we're basically at the end of week 5. You and I figured out that math yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So we're at the end of week 5 on yours. I like to do week, I want to say in a month we can do it, but you had some extra stuff going on. We had some connectors that you wanted specifically that didn't show up, and we had to swap some stuff out.
Yep.
So, and then your project, I think we were right at 4 weeks, and then
Yeah, we were ready to go.
you could have taken it home last time, but you had to. You
a
stayed an
wedding.
extra day because we couldn't get oil pressure and some other silly stuff.
Yeah.
And you had to be at a wedding.
Yep.
So you flew home, left it, came back, and then we knocked it on the dyno and wrapped up the simple stuff again. So, as far as our projects go, we try to schedule one a month. We can kind of overlap a little bit because, especially if they're coming in as a complete project, we will have another one of our guys, Chad, tear it down and do all the simple stuff. Kind of get some inventory going, make sure we have the right parts going. Murphy really needs about a month.
Sleep.
He needs some sleep, yeah. He just looks tired over there. But basically, we need the truck about a month, or project about a month, and we can knock it out. The less that we have to do, the faster we can bang it out. So if you bring us a complete vehicle and we have to strip it, we have to build the mounts, we have to do all that, there's more labor involved. If you bring us something that's all we have to do is just slap an ECM in and basically hook up the wires to the existing bulkheads, I can knock one of those out in a week. We do have quite the backlog of work. If we had to do one a month with some carryover, I think we're booked till about July on these. So I hate saying that. I mean, I'm happy for the workflow, but I hate being that far out. So we're trying to figure out ways to make this more efficient. That being said, too, you guys can also DIY wire. There's flying lead kits. There's complete harnesses. So there's many options besides dropping it off and deleting every wire out of the thing and starting over again, which is what we've done with these guys. So if you guys have comments, questions, concerns on how to get some of this technology into your vehicle, there's obviously more than one way to skin a cat. Reach out to myself, reach out to Murphy, reach out to anybody here at Hardway. Or reach out to these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've learned enough over the last couple months, weeks of messing with this stuff to point you in the right direction as far as what can happen and what can't. So,
or at least don't do this, or do that.
Yeah. All these parts over here, throw those away. Use these. But yeah, so just to wrap up, so we love doing this. It's a big part of our business here at Hardway, and I've said it to 100 people. I'll say it 100 more people. My goal is to be the enabler. I don't want people to have to rely on me for them to go tuning and racing every single round. So I want to teach. I want to encourage. I want to belittle if it's necessary. You've gotten some of that. I want to give you guys a complete product that you guys can go to the racetrack, go to the sand dunes, go to wherever your project's going to play at. Make your own tune changes, enjoy. Get a hold of me on Monday. We can review some data logs, stuff like that. Go over some what to do, what not to do. And basically, you really don't need to involve me once you're out on your way unless you need to make major changes. So we've got fuel tech stuff we're playing with. No, it's not ready yet. Please don't ask me that. We're working on it. But yeah, my goal is to not just be a MoTeC shop. I want to do MoTeC, ECUMaster, FuelMaster, Haul Tech if they ever release diesel stuff. I don't care. I want your guys' stuff to run good, and I want to help you do it. So that's what we're going to do here. And whether it's us installing it or you're installing it or your buddy's shop's installing it, you know, I'll be happy to help however I can. So let's go to McGuire's.
I'm hungry.
Let's do that.
I'm tired, Grandpa.